The Ravens are like that guy that you date and is constantly doing things to like mess up. Right? And he's like, baby, I'll change. I'm going to get it together. I'm going to do better. And you keep giving him an opportunity to show that like he can change, but he just keeps doing the same thing. The Ravens keep saying the same things. I can't imagine life without a quarterback, and Lamar Jackson's our guy, and we're going to have a deal done by this date. And when is it actually going to happen? You know what I mean? Like, when are you actually going to change? When are you actually going to make sure that your words and your actions meet? We are very much aware that you cannot win in the NFL without a franchise quarterback. We are very much aware that Lamar Jackson is your guy. Are you aware of that? Because the way that you guys have been maneuvering makes me feel like you think that you can replace him. You think that you don't need him. You think that life can exist without him, and you're wrong. So while all this chit-chat and the rigmarole, as the word is.
Oh, let's stop this. Listen,
it sounds good, but I think most fans and probably Lamar and his camp are tired of hearing these accolades, tired of hearing people say, yes, Lamar's our guy. We're going to have a deal done by this date.
Right.
It all sounds good, but now is time to showcase that you mean it with action. And until you do, nothing else that you say matters.
So the question was, what do they need to win a Super Bowl? So what I hear
they need a quarterback.
So that's what I hear you saying.
They need Lamar Jackson.
Let's start there. Okay,
and other things. Let's make that very clear, because people are going to say you can't just win with a quarterback. Yes, I know that. But you need, that is your first piece. And they're in the combine right now talking about drafting this person and this position and that position. They're literally putting the carriage before the horse.
Right.
That sounds great, but what use is a great wide receiver or an offensive line or a corner when you don't have a quarterback to go ahead and put points on the board? You're doing it in reverse. It doesn't make any sense. I don't get it.
And that's exactly what they just said. So let me peel back the layers a little bit more, right?
Okay.
So Tom Monken spent the last 3 years at the University of Georgia. They won back-to-back national championships. You can say this offense was efficient. This offense presented itself as a pro offense, a pro style. Because in college now, what they're doing is they're teaching these quarterbacks to drop back, read one side of the field. If this one guy do this, this is what you do, okay? If he does that, then you throw it here. Mm-hmm. It's simple football. That's why a lot of these guys are struggling. So I bring up Tom Monken because Tom Monken and Lamar Jackson, if they want to win a title, which that was your question, Corey, right? Mm-hmm. That chemistry and continuity needs to be amazing, right? And it's hard. We just saw Russell Wilson and you had Nathaniel Hackett come together and implode in year one. This story that an offensive coordinator and a quarterback can come together and just put up 30 points a game is ridiculous, because we look at like a Tom Brady. Remember, the first 12 weeks when Tom Brady got to Tampa Bay with Bruce Arians, they struggled. They were a mess. They looked terrible. And then they figured it out probably right around week 12, week 13. They start running the ball, and, of course, they play phenomenal defense all year. So it starts there. That's the first thing. Tom Monken and Lamar Jackson, they need to get this deal done, and they need to get together right away. But don't forget, Lamar had nothing to do with this hire. Mm-hmm. Usually when you're a franchise quarterback, you're the one that's sitting in that room interviewing these offensive coordinators as well.
We've already been shown multiple times that the Ravens don't value Lamar Jackson the way that they should. So that is not surprising to me.
Right. And the second thing, Ashley, is health. Because the Baltimore Ravens, they're not far off. They've been to contend. This is a really good organization. This is a well-run organization with Ozzie put in place through his entire tenure. And obviously he stepped away 2 years ago, but he's still there running the show from a higher standpoint. This is a really good organization. They contend every year. This is a dangerous team. So all they need, sign Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson and Tom Monken built this offense in a way that fits him, that fits the guys around them, and figure out what they're trying to do. Marcus Peters, Kyle Fuller, those are two corners that they need to be healthy and come back and play at a high level. If they do that, the Baltimore Ravens can find themselves in the Super Bowl. And the last thing, Ashley, they need to do something. The Baltimore Ravens need to do something they have never done before, okay? And that's pay a wide receiver. The Baltimore Ravens, you've never paid a wide receiver. Oh, well, Brandon, you got Steve Smith. We had Steve Smith. Steve Smith was done. Love Steve Smith. He's a Hall of Famer, but he was done. Well, Brandon, don't remember the run with Joe Flacco and Anquan Bolden? No, he got him at the end of his career. He came in and balled, put up some Pro Bowl years, but he was done, and you got him for $8 million a year when the market was at 13, 14 for top flight wide receivers. The Baltimore Ravens, their philosophy is defense, run the ball, don't pay wide receivers. There's a couple of guys out there that I like, Ashley. I like D-Hop. And I'm going to tell you why I like these guys in particular. I like D-Hop in this situation. And some people say, well, does D-Hop like this situation? I don't know. But if I'm D-Hop, I'm looking at this saying, this is where I want to go. OBJ, I love him in this situation. Well, Brandon, OBJ's coming off of back-to-back injuries. Can OBJ get his career back on track? Let's talk about it later. Jarvis Landry, I love Jarvis Landry in this situation. And I also love Kenny Galladay. Kenny Galladay, oh my goodness, the last 2 years was horrible. Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness, but I love that. So they need to go out there and they need to invest a shit ton of money in the wide receiver position. Why do I like D-Hop, Ashley? Because you're getting older, right? And D-Hop is one of my favorite wide receivers. And I would say in the right situation, we'll probably be talking about him next year as top 3 wide receiver again. He's that good. He's dynamic. He's special. But when you get older, right, you want help. You want a guy on the other side. You want to run a game that's going to be able to create, better matchups for you outside. Because if they're not running the ball, then they can now double you. They can now play cover 2. I want one-on-ones. You're going to get a one-on-one matchup if you have Lamar Jackson. And D-Hop, now he goes from averaging 12 yards a catch to 15, 16 yards a catch. So I like D-Hop in that situation if Lamar can utilize him the right way and if Tom Monken can utilize someone like that. I like OBJ as well. Why do I like OBJ in this situation? It's the same thing. What Lamar Jackson and this team need to win a title is a wide receiver that can go out there and make a couple big plays a game. That's it. That's what they need. And you get that there. And then why did I say Jarvis Landry? Brandon, why are you talking about these older cats and these aging cats? This team is ready to go right now. I need the leadership. I need guys to understand situational football. You got Jarvis Landry. When Jarvis was here 2 years ago, I said, bro, here's the top 3 teams that I think you should go to. You had the Kansas City Chiefs, the Dallas Cowboys, and you had the Baltimore Ravens. Why? Because I went to Pro Football Focus and said, yo, break down where the top teams throwing it to the slot. That's what he does well. Mm-hmm. Baltimore Ravens, Lamar Jackson, they love throwing to the slot and the tight end. That's a good spot for him. And Kenny Galladay is one of those wide receivers that you can put out there, and he can average 16, 17 yards a catch. He can make big plays, but something needs to happen there. So that's what I think should happen if the Baltimore Ravens want to see themselves in the Super Bowl again.